That one fits very much with the current time period that we are going through. Second question. Is the usage of hand sanitizer considered a breach of the precept of non-killing? You know, hand sanitizer, government always encourages everyone should wash our hands, not just 5 times, 10 times, I don't know how often, until we all get OCD. But then the hand sanitizer is supposed to kill the germs and bacteria and microorganisms that we might have on our hands. So if you do this with the intention to get rid and kill them, which is usually the purpose of applying hand sanitizer, is this a breach of your precept? Answer A, yes, because microorganisms are killed by hand sanitizers. We know that. That's why we do it. Or answer B, no, it's not a breach of our precepts, because microorganisms and COVID-19 are not mentioned in the Buddhist scriptures. So how could the Buddha have laid down a rule against something that didn't exist yet? Or answer C, no, it's not a breach of the precepts, because organisms that are too small to be seen with the naked eye are not included in the precept against non-killing. I'll let you give you some time and I'll let you give the answer. A, B, or C. Few more seconds. Okay, let us see the results of your vote. Oh, this time a large majority says answer C. Organisms that are too small to be seen are not included in the precept. And only a small percentage is voted for A and B. We know from the last time already, majority is not always right. Let's see how it goes out this way. Let us see the correct answer. Oh, congratulations. Majority is sometimes right. Yes. Organisms that are so small that it cannot be seen are not included in the precept against killing. And again, sometimes with these ethics questions, we can get more details from the Vinaya, from the rules of the monks and the nuns. And we have a special Pachitya rule, and I will read out the answer also, how it applies to the monks. So, Ajahn Tanisaro, Ajahn, a teacher from the Thai forest tradition, who has written a Vinaya manual a few years back. He comments that apparently this factor does not include beings too small to be seen with the naked eye. Inasmuch as the classes of medicine allowed in the Mahavagga, one of the Vinaya texts, those medicines that are allowed there explicitly, they include a number of antibacterial and antiviral substances, some mineral salts, and a decoction made from the leaves of some trees. All those can be antibiotics. Some leaves from trees, or even garlic. You eat a lot of garlic, and that's also an antibiotic, a natural one. And the Vinaya commentary even explains that the smallest example to which this rule extends is the size of an animal, larger, not smaller, than the size of a bed bug egg. The egg of a bed bug. So it's really small. A millimeter or maybe 2. So it's just so much that you can see it. So yes, bacteria, microorganisms that we cannot see with the naked eye The Buddha didn't go to this extreme. So it's not a breach of the precepts. But then interesting also, if we consider it's still a living being, yes, it's very small and very difficult to know where are they. We cannot always wear face masks. Well, it seems we can, but before COVID-19, there was only in India, there was actually one group already, the Jains, who also had this practice, always wear face mask in order not to breathe in accidentally any beings or even minute beings. And for them, they would go to this extreme. And even when they walk anywhere, they would just sweep in order not to step on any small insect. It becomes actually very difficult to live like that in the world. So the Buddha did not go to this extreme. But if the intention is to kill, even if it's a small being, it could still be an unwholesome karma to some degree. Because if it's a living being, a form of life, even if it's small, and you try to deliberately kill it, or apply hand sanitizer, which will kill it, there's still an element of unwholesomeness there. It's not a breach of the rules, but the mind, in terms of karma, has still some unwholesomeness there. But also wholesomeness, of course, in wanting to protect oneself, protecting others from getting infected by this terrible virus. So it's a mix. And for most of us, probably the main thought will be about protection, not about killing, right? So even though it's a mix of wholesome and a little bit of unwholesome karma, the wholesome side might be much stronger in our mind than the unwholesome aspect. I don't think anybody washes his hand thinking, wow, I hope they really die. But there's this possibility for mixed karma. What the Buddha in the suttas, what he calls dark karma and bright karma, or karma that is dark and bright. I will read out a short passage to you from the Anguttara Nikaya, Anguttara 4.233, where the Buddha explains what is dark and bright karma with dark and bright results. Here, someone performs a bodily volitional action that is both afflictive and non-afflictive. A verbal volitional activity that is both afflictive and non-afflictive. So something wholesome and unwholesome, by body or by speech, or a mental volitional activity that is both afflictive and non-afflictive. As a consequence, he is reborn in a world that is both afflictive and non-afflictive. Because it's a kind of mixed karma, the corresponding rebirth will also be a mixed one. Not exclusively pleasant, like in some of the higher heavens, but also not exclusively unpleasant, like in the worst case, down in hell. So it will be a mixed result, because it's a mixed karma. When he is reborn in such a world, contacts that are both afflictive and non-afflictive touch him. Being touched by contacts that are both afflictive and non-afflictive, he feels feelings that are both afflictive and non-afflictive, pleasant and unpleasant, mingled pleasure and pain, as in the case of human beings. Right? As human beings, yes, sometimes we have a good time, we can experience a degree of pleasure, but there's also a fair deal of dukkha there, isn't it? So human beings have both pleasure and pain, and also some devas and some beings in the lower worlds. This is called dark and bright karma with dark and bright results. Okay, then just to briefly mention, there's also bright karma that has only bright results. So purely wholesome karma, like generosity, learning the Dhamma, giving a hand to someone, these kind of things. And then there's also purely dark karma with purely dark results and unpleasant results. So very clear intention to kill an animal with no other wholesome, or even a human being with no wholesome intentions going along with it, just for selfish reasons or for money or whatever. That is purely unwholesome. But this one is a mixed bag, I would say. Okay. Well, many of you got it right this time. Okay.